Here.
Hey, Barnes? Murphy? Oh, Murphy? Here. My bad. Colleen Dunn? Here. My bad. All right, now, first order of business. New Falls Estate, LLC.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Scott Denlinger from Bristol Township here on behalf of the applicant.
Is your mic on?
Green light.
There we go. Now it's green. You're testing me because I'm red-green colorblind. Denlinger, I will give you a card. Okay. I also have exhibit packets that have my name on it as well. So before I get started, I'll hand out the exhibit packets.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, that's good. Good. Do you have proof of service to the adjoining budding property owners and proof of the property was posted?
Yes. Adjoining property owners is in here, one of the exhibits.
Okay, perfect.
My witness will testify in personal property.
Okay.
He has a picture on his phone. It's not in
All right, so if you can just bring him up before you start, we'll do the service real quick and knock it out and then the floor is
Thanks.
yours.
Thank you.
And I have some extras here if anyone in the audience would like a copy. They were all first names signed, the very last page. And the delivery receipt is that.
Did you have them signed or did you have them? I took care of it. Okay. So when he gets sworn in, I'll ask him a couple questions about the proofs and then also about the posting. Sure. Plaque in the township. All right. The official proofs, are they the same thing that's in here?
Yeah, they're just original copies.
I'll need the original, yeah. Hang on to them. And then I'll shoot you next. So you testify once you're sworn in too. Sure.
Okay.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Can you spell your name for the record and the mic, please?
Sean, S-E-A-N, McDonald, M-C-D-O-N, A-L-D.
Mr. McDonald, a couple questions. Your attorney handed up a packet, one of which is marked A6, and it shows that the adjoining or budding property owners were served with notice of tonight's meeting. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. And the forms that you showed me, they're the forms that you had your neighbor sign?
Yes.
All right. And then you also advised that the property was posted with the placard given to you by the township. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Do you know the date that it was posted?
Let me pull that up for you. February 20th, 2026?
Okay, and that placard remained up for a period of 2 weeks?
Yes.
All right,
Still up.
Still up tonight?
Correct.
All right, great, thank you.
Sure.
All right, whenever you guys are ready.
All right. Thank you. So I will give a brief introduction, and then Mr. McDonald is my first witness this evening. So we are here on the behalf of the applicant, New Falls Estate LLC. The applicant is also the legal owner of the property. The property at question is 2200 New Falls Road, which is also Bucks County parcel number 05-015-114. The zoning application relates to the use of the property. It is located in the R1 zoning residence district, and the property is currently improved with a 3-story, 3,838 square foot tavern and 14-unit rooming house building, with the remainder of the property largely paved with parking and drive aisle areas. The applicant proposes this evening to change that use to a multiple family use containing 6 apartment units. However, this renovation will not change the footprint of the building. As you may know, Tavern and Rooming House is a non-conforming use in the R1 district, as is the proposed multiple family use. So we are before you this evening for a special exception for a change from one non-conforming use to another non-conforming use. And that section that allows a change of a non-conforming use is section 205-148 of the zoning ordinance. So I have two witnesses this evening. The first you've already heard from is Mr. McDonald, one of the principals of the applicant, and the other is Matthew Piotrowski, our architect. So, Mr. McDonald, if you could step to the mic. I'll ask some questions, and you may want to have this exhibit packet before you. So, I just stated that you are one of the principals of New Falls Estate, is that correct?
Yes.
And am I correct that New Falls Estate is the owner of 2200 New Falls Road?
Correct.
Could you turn to the document in the exhibit packet marked as Exhibit A2? Could you tell me what that document is?
This is the deed.
And can you tell me who the deed identifies as the owner of the property?
New Falls Estate.
Okay, and it looks like New Falls has owned the property since November of 2023, is that correct?
Correct.
So can you tell us a little bit about what you have been doing with the property over the past 2 years?
Sure. Since we purchased the property in 2023, we've been exploring what it would take to renovate the tavern as well as purchase the liquor license. Unfortunately, we weren't able to obtain the liquor license from the previous owner. So since then, we've kind of pivoted a little bit. While we're not necessarily thrown in the towel for the tavern, the last 6 months, we kind of rethought things and thought, apartments may be a better fit and better for the surrounding community.
So at that time, am I correct, you hired an architect?
Correct. Matt Petruski.
And I'll get into the specifics of the plan with Mr. Petrowski, but I see that the existing footprint of the building is not proposed to change, is that correct?
That's correct. They'll remain the same.
And what was the thinking behind that?
Well, the characteristic of the building, as we all know, has specific look to it, and everybody's accustomed to that. So we didn't necessarily want to change that, but obviously it needs some TLC, needs some curb appeal. So we're going to paint the outside, we're going to clean it up, clean up the parking lot, obviously. We're going to add some curb appeal and some landscape.
Okay, so landscaping, I actually want to hit on that. Can you explain what your plans are with landscaping?
So the plan is to add a grassed courtyard space behind the building in the rear for the tenants to use. And then we also plan to add a landscape berm that'll go along Newportville Road across from Lower Road, just to, like I said, give it some curb appeal and add to the value of the property.
So I'd like to turn your attention to Exhibit A4 of the packet. And can you tell me what that exhibit is?
This is the zoning plan.
And am I correct that you have marked up this copy of the zoning plan?
I have, where we propose to do the courtyard space in the rear of the building, as well as the landscape island, across from Lower Road.
And those are shown in red markings?
Correct.
And they're kind of general,
Yeah, they're general. We
ideas.
just wanted to, propose it to the board. Obviously, reduce the impervious surface is always better, but again, we're open to suggestions for that.
Now, if the township preferred that you did not add the landscape island or add the landscaping behind the building, is that a deal breaker for you?
No, not at all.
Okay. For the benefit of the board, I believe I meant to include a copy of that plan with the application and accidentally included 2 copies of the exact same zoning plan. The Exhibit A1 is a copy of the entire original submission of the application. for our purposes this evening, I did pull out the deed copy of the zoning plan that was originally included, and then did realize my error and include the Exhibit A4, which is the copy of the exhibit that shows the landscaping areas. So, Mr. McDonald, with this current proposal, are you intending to retain any tavern or restaurant use on the property?
No,
So the use of the building will be solely residential.
correct.
And can you state for the record how many dwelling units you are proposing?
We plan on 6 apartments.
And how did you land on that number of apartments?
Well, based on the square foot of the building, we didn't want to go back into the boarding room situation, because the way it was 10 by 10 rooms. We wanted to get away from that. So like I said, based on the square foot of each floor, we came up with 3 apartments on the second floor, 1 apartment on the first floor. And at the time, we were toying with the tavern, but we know that it's in the best interest of the community and the surrounding neighbors to do away with the tavern, and then obviously we came up with 2 apartments on the first floor.
And did you discuss this application with your neighbors?
I did.
And we noted earlier that there were letters that you had signed by most of your neighbors, is that correct?
There was one resident that wasn't available, so we certified mail, and then I gave the receipt.
And then you also posted the property, correct?
Posted the property on February 20th.
So with your neighbors' knowledge of this application, did you receive any feedback from your neighbors?
We did, mostly positive. Nobody really opposed the idea, and fortunately, we have somebody in the crowd from Avenue A that's here to support our idea. So I don't know if they want to speak on it. Danielle and Joseph Fling.
Well, they'll have an opportunity later, but good to know they're here. And that's all I have for this witness. So questions from the board?
Any questions?
The house next door, did you rehab that house? Is that your house also?
Yes, the triplex, we
Yeah.
finished that up last winter. As I'm sure you know, what it looked like before, and obviously what it looks like now. So that's what we intend to do, with the roadhouse, minus the siding. We plan to, repair the stucco and paint that.
Thank you, because it really, really looks good.
Appreciate
Made it
that.
look nice down there.
Thank you.
Okay.
I got one more question. I noticed when I was driving through the property, obviously it looks all impervious to me, all blacktop. I noticed some construction vehicles in the back. If this was to go through and we wanted to put a continuous that there is no commercial vehicles parked there, is that going to be a problem?
No, that wouldn't be a problem. We would
Okay.
definitely move them if that, what it took.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? All right. With that, I will call Mr. Petrowski.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So I have Mr. Piotrowski here this evening, who I plan on certifying as an expert in architecture. Mr. Piotrowski, could you please flip to Exhibit A7? Here. And explain to the board what that document is?
It's my resume.
And you are the principal and architect?
Give me 1 second. Has he testified before in front of the board or no?
In front of other boards?
Our board.
Have you testified before this board?
Not in a very long time.
Okay. All right, got it.
I'll do the abbreviated version. Am I correct that you're the principal and architect of Matthew V. Petrowski Architecture LLC?
I am,
And how long have you worked in that position?
since 1999.
Am I correct that much of your work has been done in Bucks County?
Yes,
And part of your job is reviewing and ensuring compliance with township zoning ordinances.
Yes.
Ballpark, how many times have you testified before a zoning hearing board?
500?
All right. Oh. With that, I would request permission to certify Matt Petrowski as an expert in architecture.
Accepted.
Thank you. Am I correct that the applicant hired you to design the proposed renovation on the property?
Yes,
And you're familiar with the project and the property?
I am.
Can you tell the board what the location, size, and zoning of the property is?
It's zoned R1 residential. The size of the building, excuse me one second. The size of the building is about 3,800 square feet. It's 3 stories. It's not all the same size. The first floor is the largest, then the second floor is a little bit smaller, and the third floor is even smaller than the second floor. It's non-conforming, or I'll let you ask the questions, I'm sorry.
It's okay, you're doing a good job. Does it sound correct to you that the property consists of approximately 30,817 square feet?
Yes,
I'm going to direct your attention to Exhibit A3, which you might have a bigger version of on one of those boards. Can you tell me what that exhibit is?
this is the existing site plan of the property. It shows the building in relationship to the street and the parking area. There are, I'm going to say the main part of the building is the part that shows the footprint at 2988. On the, I'm going to say the right-hand side of that, there's a overhang, and that's a fire escape from the 3rd floor. If you've been out there, it's not very attractive. It's kind of industrial looking. That is proposed to be removed. There's also a fire escape in the rear that goes up over the 1st floor roof. That also is proposed to be removed. The footprint doesn't change, but the 2nd floor is getting built out over the 1st floor so we can accommodate exits there inside the building, trying to make it look like it was always there, not an afterthought like it is now.
Matt, that was a good segue, I believe, into Exhibit 8. I'll bring you back to the plan, but I think A8. But I think talking about the addition to the 2nd story is shown well in Exhibit A8. Can you describe that exhibit a little bit for us?
Yeah, that's a rendering of the, I'm going to say, the side of the building. The side that faces Newportville Road. That's really the biggest impact to the building. Right now, you have the original building, which is stucco and has that A-frame roof. The lower part in the rear, or I should say the 1st floor part, is existing, and there's an industrial-looking stair going up, and we're removing that and putting extending the 2nd floor. The reason the 2nd floor has a flat roof on it is because if we don't, we would be blocking the windows from the 3rd floor. So we have to put a flat roof on it. So that view also shows some landscaping in front of the building. We would be picking up that low roof that wraps around the front of the building. The front of the building, other than possibly having to change the size of a couple windows from a code standpoint, would remain the same, other than cleaning it up and fixing the stucco and repainting it.
And this is an example of the cleaning up, how we expect it to look when it's finished?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to take you back to the plan. I apologize for jumping around. But there's a zoning table on the plan. And am I correct that the minimum front yard for the property is 7.7 feet, where 35 feet is required?
That's correct.
So that's an existing nonconformity.
Correct.
And am I also correct that the max impervious coverage is currently 97.3%, where 30% is permitted?
That's correct.
So that's also an existing nonconformity, is that correct?
Yes.
And am I correct that everything else on that zoning table, the property is in compliance with?
Correct.
Are we proposing to exacerbate any of the existing dimensional nonconformities?
No, actually, we would be reducing the impervious coverage. I don't have an exact number. It depends on the landscape plan, but we would be removing some of the blacktop and putting landscaping in, and landscape is pervious.
Okay. And looking at the plan, how many parking spaces are currently on the property?
According to the plan, or what you can actually put out there, because there's a lot of parking that is not striped. The striping parking, the striped parking.
I think you might have to count, but does
Okay.
the number of 37 sound correct?
Yes.
So what is your understanding of the existing use of the existing building?
It was used as a tavern and a rooming house on the second and third floor. Tavern on the first floor.
And those are non-conforming uses?
Correct.
However, your architectural design is to transition the use to 6 apartment units, is that correct?
That's correct.
And with your review of the ordinance, am I correct that that would be a multiple family dwelling use under the zoning ordinance?
It would be, yes.
So we are proposing a change from one non-conforming use to another, is that correct?
Yes.
So I'm going to draw your attention to Exhibit A5 of the packet. Can you please describe your architectural plans?
The plan on the left side of that page is the first floor. The walls that are shaded dark gray are the existing walls. The walls that are hatched, and it may be tough to see at that that scale that you're looking at, are proposed new walls. And there's some dashed lines that are walls that we would be removing. So on the first floor, we have 2 apartment units. We've created an entrance for the second and third floor on the right-hand side. That's the side that I showed in that rendering. When you come in there, you would go up the steps. The plan on the right depicts the second floor. You would come up the steps, and you would those steps would service the second floor, and then there's some common area, and from that common area, that would go up to the third floor.
And do you have I believe the next sheet of that same exhibit is the third floor?
Correct. The third floor is one apartment The third floor is a one-bedroom. Because of the slope of the roof, you'll notice it's a long linear apartment. It has the common staircase that goes down, meets the second floor staircase and goes out to the right side. And then at the top of the page, there is a door that goes out to the fire escape.
Am I correct that the two apartments on the first floor and 2 of the 3 on the second floor will be 2-bedroom units?
That's correct.
And then the third apartment on the second floor and the third floor apartment will be 1-bedroom units?
Correct. And if I may backtrack a second, I apologize. I misspoke in that the existing fire escape on the left side of the building will remain. The one on the right side that extends over the existing roof would be removed, and that staircase would become inside the building.
So am I correct that you reviewed the zoning ordinance in order to put together your plans?
I did.
And we discussed earlier the number of existing parking spaces. Can you tell me, based on the zoning ordinance, how many parking spaces are required for this proposed plan?
I believe we need 2 per.
Would 2 parking spaces per unit plus 1 additional guest space per unit sound
Yes,
correct?
yes, the
So-
one existing, one additional per unit, yes.
So for 6 apartment units, we are talking 18 parking spaces?
Correct,
So we would be able to easily comply with that, correct?
absolutely.
So, in your professional opinion, will 6 apartment units generate less traffic than a tavern and rooming house?
Yes, also, besides the quantity of ins and outs, also the time of ins and outs are much more pleasurable with the apartments versus a tavern. You know, if the tavern's open till midnight or whatever, you have people leaving it at hours where a lot of neighbors are asleep.
So, by virtue of those fewer trips, do you expect that the proposed use would create less noise, smoke, fumes, odor, et cetera?
Yes,
Do you believe that there will be less waste created by 6 apartments than by a tavern and rooming house?
absolutely.
Do you believe that the proposed apartments are consistent with the Township Comprehensive Plan and Zoning Ordinance?
Yes, I believe so.
And do you believe that the proposed use is suitable and harmonious with the general character of the surrounding area?
Yes.
And that it will not overburden the public utilities?
No, I think it'll reduce the impact on the public utilities.
All right, thank you. I have no further questions. Open you up to questions from the board.
Just since you brought up parking spots, this might be a question for Sean, I'm not sure, but who's going to keep an eye on the spots? Because that's a lot of footprint to park trucks, boats, vans, Q vans, whatever. Who's going to enforce that they only use 3 spots per apartment?
Plan to monitor. Our shop is right across the street, so we're always in that area, keeping an eye on. We have security cameras.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else?
I'm good.
Bob, you have anything?
All right, I have nothing further. I would request that we move my exhibits into the record, and I would rest.
All right, and Bob, so obviously if we approve this, it's going to go through license inspections, so the fire marshal is going to be involved with exits and all that stuff and everything.
Yeah, you'll have to do a full permit review,
Yeah.
all trades, fire marshal. Yep.
Anybody from the audience want to speak for or against?
I am one of the neighbors.
Can you come up, please? Could you kindly give your name and she'll swear you in?
Danielle Zarankowitz.
Can you spell your last name?
Zerenkiewicz.
You raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. It is. I've been in the neighborhood for about 16 years, and I do know Sean and Kyle. I really appreciate what they did to the previous building and can only think of good things for the next one.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? That's a motion.
I'd like to make a motion for it.
I'll
Um,
second.
Under the conditions that, there'll be no truck parking, trailer parking, just the parking for the, people who live there.
I'll second that.
Call the board?
Gerard Lycon,
Yes,
Mark DeMarcus.
Yes.
Colleen Dunn.
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes. Good luck.
good luck.
Next on the agenda, United Way, 2901 Edgeley Road.
Of the postings. We did certified mail for all of the adjoining residences. I have the original receipts here, the majority of the cards that we received back, and then print out copies of all of those as well.
Okay. So what we'll do is, after she swears you in, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions about all this. And through the date that it was posted,
The 19th, Thursday the 19th.
2/19.
2/19.
Got it. Thanks.
Patrick O'Brien, O-B-R-I-E-N.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Mr. O'Brien, you handed me up some documents. The packet that I'm going to mark, we'll mark as applicant 1. It is the green card you received back from the adjoining or abutting property owners, is that correct?
Correct.
And you mailed all of the people listed in these green cards, the copy of the notice provided to you by the township?
Correct.
All right, and then you also handed me a picture showing the property was posted with the placard, and you advised that the property was posted February 19th, 2026.
Correct.
All right, and then that placard remained up for a period of 2 weeks?
Correct.
All right, is it still up today?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
All right, proceed.
Okay. Good evening, members of the board and township officials, and thank you for the opportunity to appear before you this evening. My name is Patrick O'Brien, PJ O'Brien, as some may know me. I serve as United Way of Bucks County's Impact Director for Financial Stability. I am joined tonight by our President and CEO, Marissa Christie, as well as Seth Russell, who is our project manager from Horgan Building Company for our project. Our organization recently purchased 2901 Edgeley Road and are relocating our headquarters and our help center operations to this site. We are requesting tonight a variance from the township's parking requirement. Under the current zoning classification formula, we would need to add more than 350 parking spaces that are not needed for our operations. Adding these parking spaces would negatively impact the surrounding neighborhood and, of course, the environment. The site currently contains 56 spaces, and we are asking to simply maintain that existing configuration. On a full day, we anticipate approximately 15 to 20 staff and community volunteers on site, but the majority of our staff works in the field and remotely at least 50% of the time. Most of our services are appointment-based, which staggers traffic and limits peak demand. We do periodically host larger volunteer days of service for local businesses, but even then, the existing 56 parking spaces can accommodate participants without any overflow. Adding hundreds of spots would remain unused, would require, of course, extensive additional paving. It would eliminate green space, increase impervious coverage without providing really any benefit to our operations, while maintaining the current configuration, avoids that overdevelopment, preserves the existing character of the site, and does not, of course, impact negatively the surrounding residents. We have proactively communicated with the adjoining neighbors as required. And of course, we've remained committed to being a responsible and respectful presence in the community. And this request just simply represents the minimum relief necessary to allow reasonable use of the property for us. And for these reasons, we respectfully ask the board to grant the variance and permit the site to maintain its existing 56 parking spaces. Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, if we were to approve this today, would you be accepted that we would, accept that the 56 is good now, but if you resell the property, that they would have to come in front of the board, if they want to build something else and need more parking spots?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. If I said that right.
Anybody else? Bob, you have anything? Anybody in the audience want to speak for or against this project? All right, need a motion.
I'll put a motion for it, as long as the parking spots, I think he said was 56, stays with them. Also, if they sell the property, it has to go, whoever buys the property has to come in front of us for a variance.
Gerard, can I add to your, I guess your yes?
I didn't hear you.
Can we also add transfer of ownership?
Yeah, and also add to that, if there's transfer of ownership, it would have to come in front of the board. That's my motion.
I'll second.
Call the board?
Gerard Lycon.
Yes.
Mark DeMarcus.
Yes.
Colleen Dunn.
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Enjoy your evening.
All right, next one on the agenda, Corey Lidieri. Excuse me for a second. And Bryce. How are you?
I was tempted to make public comment for the last one because my law firm did a day of service at their facility at near the old Walmart, and parking was 50-some spots is more than enough. They do great work, by the way. It's honestly, I didn't have any idea until we went there. It's very impressive.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Good evening, Board. Bryce McGuigan here from Begley Carlin. Tonight, I'm here on behalf of Corey Lettieri. Corey is the owner of the next two parcels on the agenda, but the first one we're going to do, I believe, is for 714 River Road. So, by way of background, the property is about 0.27 acres, a little over a quarter of an acre. And it's currently improved by 2 single-family detached dwellings. This was an existing nonconformity when Corey purchased the property back in 2019. And actually, before I forget here, I've got something for Bob. Sorry. So back when Corey bought the property in 2019, it was an existing nonconformity. He lived on the back home for I think 3 or 4 years. Then a couple years ago, Corey moved, and now it's just basically been an investment property. What we're here for tonight is zoning relief to help us subdivide the parcel and basically maintain the 2 existing homes. The home to the front, so if you look at the lot here, the lot, as you can see, it's a corner lot between River Road and, what's the other? Minot. And Minot Avenue. So the property to the corner, the home to the corner here, we're trying to replace as part of the application. The plan, generally, it's very simple. Cut a line in half, so now you have the southern property here on its own parcel, and same with the one at the corner. The problem is the home at the corner is in rather poor condition. So the plan, like I said, is to demolish that home, to build a new home in its place that is substantially in the same location, but the home is somewhat oddly configured. So, and from what I understand, the foundation is in poor shape. So even though we're generally keeping the existing nonconformities, because we're proposing a new foundation and a new home, we're here before you to seek relief related only to front yard setback. The existing non-conforming setback is 7.4 feet. We're proposing 7.5 feet. It is a double frontage lot, so it's subject to 2 separate front yards on both frontages. So that's why we're here for tonight. What I do want to say is, you know, as part of the whole point of this project is to improve the property. You know, Corey admittedly would like to maintain the property as an investment property, but he wants to do it in a way that's candidly better than what it is now. Existing, the rear lot's in pretty good shape. The front lot is not. And it's not only because of the home that's deteriorating, but candidly, we understand that our tenant who's there, despite the fact he's a good tenant and he's a good, Corey says he's a good person, he is a scrapper part-time, so we know the lot is in a little bit rough shape. The goal of this is to have a brand-new house there on the corner, and one that hopefully will be lived in by a family that'll maintain it in a little bit better fashion than what it is now. As part of the development, you know, not only are we just subdividing and swapping out a house, but what we're going to do is, existing right now, these 2 homes are on the same sewer and water line. We are going to be separating those out. They have existing separate electric meters. Obviously, we're keeping that. But also, we're going to be net reducing impervious surface as a result of this development. There's going to be over 500 square feet less impervious on the property. But even though we're reducing impervious, we're also providing stormwater management. To that end, we had the contractor out today, the specialist, conducting soil testing for that basin that we're proposing. So at the end of the day, the hope is that this property will be better than it is now and something that's a little bit more conforming with the neighborhood. What I will say, you know, Corey is relatively new to the business of rehabilitating properties. He has done a couple of others in Bristol Township. Bob, if you could do me a favor, the last 2 pages here should, if I did this right, have some samples of properties that Corey has. Yeah. Oh, sorry, it's a little small there. So these are 2 other properties that he's rehabilitated in the area. Again, just a sample of the work that he does and what he intends to bring to 714 River Road. So with that, we're requesting 1 single variance tonight. It is for a front yard setback of 7.5 feet, where 7.4 feet is existing and 25 feet is otherwise required. Provided we get this relief, we will continue on with the land development process, where he'll have to go before the Planning Commission and Township Council in order to seek final approvals for that. But with that, I have Corey with me tonight. I also have Adam Prince, our project engineer from Fioravanti Inc. I'm going to bring Corey up to attest to my statements, and then if the board has any specific questions, obviously Corey and Adam would be happy to address those.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Corey, you are the owner of this property at 714 River Road, is that right?
Yes.
And you were obviously sitting in the front row as I made my statements to the board a few moments ago.
Yes, sir.
All right. Were those statements true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Would you be willing to adopt those statements as your testimony here tonight?
Yes.
And is there anything else you'd care to add or supplement to what I just told the board a second ago?
Everything he said I agree with, and the house is just it's a really run-down house, and the tenant pays like a lot less than what the market value would be, and that's partly, I don't know if somebody would like live in it than this tenant, so that's why I really want to put a better product out if possible.
And obviously, if you're approved tonight, and if you receive your subdivision approvals from Township Council, as part of that, obviously, you would have to, unfortunately, ask the tenant to move out. You would then have to demolish the home. Is that right?
Yes, he's already on a month-to-month situation where he knows that's a possibility.
And the goal would be to have a steady tenant come in, what would hopefully be a small family, perhaps.
Yes, I was even possibly thinking about moving in a brand new house, but I have a son, so I would just have to move him again, and I'm just not sure about any of that right now.
Yeah, but either way, the goal is for there to be a family there,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
So with that, based upon the exhibits that we have tonight, as well as the testimony presented, that the applicant would rest, subject to any questions that the board has. And obviously, if the board has any specific engineering questions, we have Adam here as well who can testify to that.
Any questions?
Yes. Bob, is there any outstanding violations on that property?
Not to my knowledge at this time, Gerard.
Not to your knowledge? You said you rent that front property out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hate to say it, you should be ashamed of yourself. It's a disaster. It's really bad. They're burning out there. I'm a scrapper myself. They have scrap all over the place. I think people are living in cars there. I stopped by several different times, and people are in cars sitting there for a while. Cars parked all over the yard, trash all over the yard, cardboard over windows. Who owns the back house? I know you own the back house. So you rent that out also?
So my barber, he is the owner of Legacy Barber Lounge on State Road. He rents the back house, and the person who rents the front house, it was really like a last minute thing. He used to live on First Ave, which is like right around the corner, and him and his wife got divorced, and it was definitely not what I wanted there, but I just felt for the guy, and I have had conversations with him constantly about that, but I should be more on top of keeping the property clean.
That's just a disgrace. I mean, I like to say, shame on you for being a landlord allowing that. Why is there scaffolding on the back house, or scaffolding leaning up against the house, like construction stuff? There's cement mixers in the backyard of the, in between the two houses. What's all that all
So
about?
the house was, the person who originally owned the house, I also do have a construction company, but the person who owned the house was like he's the one who did all the work, did the house in the back, did the sewer line, all the things that were there. So I just, like, when I bought the property, attained a lot.
In 19, right?
In 2019, yeah, I've had it just because it wasn't bad stuff, so I just kept the stuff. But I mean, I should have gotten rid of it by now, but
Yeah, I do struggle with this, you know. I'm afraid to, you know, agree with you on building a house there when you can't even take care of something as easy as not leaving people trash your property. I mean, you build another house, obviously it'll be newer, you know, you'll be on top of it, but man, that is horrible.
I do know that the tenants had his own issues at his previous property with the township, and it makes sense. I should put more effort into it. I was really trying to move forward on this part of it so that I can, when I put the money out to fix it up, it's not like I'm doing things 2 and 3 times. I don't want to make an excuse, but that is partly why I haven't like dropped the hammer on all of those issues.
If we were to pass this in good faith, are you gonna go back there tomorrow and tell them to clean that place up? Stop burning maybe wire, whatever they're burning out there? It's unacceptable in our township.
Yes, sir. I will.
Also, I'm gonna say something to Bob that said to L&I out there. It's just terrible. It's not fair to the neighbors.
It will definitely be finished from this point forward. And he knows he's on a month-to-month lease. Again, he's just an older man that's been through a lot. I was just trying to, you know, give him a place to stay. He has to like rent a room in my house, and I'm like, I can't do that the way that he, you know.
And you are planning on knocking the house completely down?
Yes, put a new foundation and make it a beautiful property, like looking similar to one of these ones, if possible.
Yeah. Just for you being a landlord to accept that, I'm afraid, you know.
No, I appreciate you telling me that, because I should have been more on top of it.
Like tomorrow, maybe.
And if I may briefly, you know, and again, we're not making any excuses, but one thing I do want to emphasize is, you know, if, let's say, Corey just wanted to subdivide and have 2 separate marketable lots, you know, the quick and easy way to do it would be to just keep the house, rehab it as best as possible. You save money, obviously, on demo and construction costs, but also you don't have to provide actual stormwater management. You don't have to install a basin. So the fact that I would say that might give the board a little bit more comfort in this is Corey is going through this process, is before you today to seek the variance. And like I said, just spent thousands on soil testing, will be installing formal stormwater management, which otherwise wouldn't be required if he just tried to do this quick and dirty. So he is trying to do this the right way to make this property better than what it is, but it's not an excuse.
When you're at the bottom, it's easy to go up, you know, I mean, that place is at the bottom. You know, there's cardboard on the windows, you know, cause they're broken out or whatever. But the yard being trashed, cars parked all over the place, unacceptable, you know, that's just my point of view.
Yeah, and we would agree with that and understand.
Please, you know,
Yes,
if
sir.
this was to go through, you gotta clean that place.
No,
up.
it'll be cleaned up tomorrow. It'll be on, you know, on the first thing on the agenda.
Well, we'll make sure that happens. Obviously, we have to go through, if provided this is approved, we have to go through two other boards, Planning Commission and Township Council, and I'm sure that Corey doesn't want to address this issue in front of Township Council, so this is high on the list of being addressed.
All right.
Any other questions? Bob, do you have anything? Anybody in the audience want to speak for or against this project? All right. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion for this project with the assumption that we're gonna clean this up as quickly as possible.
Agreed.
Okay.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All the board?
Eileen Dunn,
Yes.
Gerard Lycon,
Yes.
Mark DeMarcus,
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Place cleaned up, seriously.
I will. I'll do it as soon as possible tomorrow.
One more, guys.
Thank you. And the next agenda. All right, Bryce, all you.
All right. Good evening again, board. I'm still Bryce McGuigan, still from Bailey, Carlin, and still representing Corey Lettieri. This time for the vacant property at 1100 Jangood Place. This one's kind of unique. So
Yeah, we have.
Sorry.
Jangood, Jangood, one word. So yeah, this one's unique to state that. It's 0.193 acres, about 8,400 square feet gross. Unfortunately, there is a PennDOT highway easement that's taking about 75% of the lot. We'll get into that one in a second here. It's, as you can see on the first page of our exhibit book here, this is from the Bucks County Parcel Viewer. As you can see, it's about 8,400 square feet total. Right backs up to Route 13. There's also a paper street right next door to the lot. If it weren't for the highway easement, it would generally be conforming to the local area. But unfortunately, the highway easement does leave this to be about 1,900 square feet or so net, which is obviously rather small in almost any neighborhood. The issue here, and this is one that has caused problems for Corey and us through the process, is the highway easement was originally taken by PennDOT in 1971 for a planned widening of the road and redesign of the Turnpike interchange. That project has long since been abandoned by PennDOT, and we've had discussions with PennDOT about getting this highway easement basically abandoned with the project. Unfortunately, despite the fact we were informed that yes, this is going to happen, we were also informed it's going to take many years. So the current condition of the property, which I will be hearing about in a few moments, is not great. It's basically a dumping ground for some of the local users of the area. I'm not going to say residents because I don't know that. It's also somewhat used as a truck stop, not our trucks. We're not profiting off of that. We think that's a neighbor who has the trucks. There are massive issues there. And in all candor, the idea for Corey to sit here and maintain a vacant property that he's had issues with maintaining for a while now. You know, again, partly because he's not there all the time, but the other part because, you know, he's cleaned it a few times, and unfortunately, people keep coming back and dumping things. He's also, what he's done is, this one got a little bit out over his skis, and he's removed a bunch of the trees that were there, the woodlands that were there, and he did that without the proper permits through the township, and we still have to remedy that situation with Bob's office. So there are a number of issues at the property, and what we're here trying to do tonight is to seek zoning relief to build a single-family home that's otherwise permitted on the lot, but because of the gross restrictions that we have related to the highway easement, we need what looks on paper to be significant zoning relief. Specifically, we need a front yard variance of 8.3 feet. We need a side yard of 0 feet, a rear yard of 1 foot, and then we need building coverage of 38%, where 30% is the max otherwise allowed, and impervious of 55 and change when 40% is otherwise allowed. Now, what I would say is this plan looks a lot different on paper than it would look like in real life if this relief is approved and if the house is constructed. Because at the end of the day, like I said, we received assurances from PennDOT that we will be able to get this property back that's subject to the easement once they go through the formal process of abandoning that. However, that is going to take some time. But once we have that area back, now this 1 foot or the 0 foot side yard setback now is a very, very large and compliant side yard. The building coverage gross would go from 38% to 8.9%. Now that doesn't take into account the general right-of-way at issue, but the same thing happens with impervious. We would go from 55% to, when you look at the gross lot area, only 12%. So in total, this is, any other place in the township, this would candidly be an underdevelopment of the lot, but here, because of the highway easement, it just looks completely out of whack. What I would say as well is, you know, if you're building this even without the highway easement that's at issue, you would probably want to keep the house further away from Route 13 as well. Maybe not exactly in this particular spot, but I think you would skew this home away from Route 13 for the privacy and protection of any family who lives there. We would also plan on installing and planting buffering to the rear of the lot, so that way you give the family some sort of privacy from Route 13, because it's literally right behind us.
Bryce, he doesn't own that property yet. It's supposed to go through PennDOT, right?
Yeah, correct, but again, if we're doing some sort of plantings per se,
Okay.
you know, I would say that's not a structure that would be an issue with an easement. Obviously, he can't unfortunately fence it, which you would like to do, or he can't, you know, do any other sort of installation back there, but plantings you could do. So that's what we would do in the short term. Bob, if you could do me a favor, go to the very bottom for me, last couple pages. Because I just want to touch on the current condition of the property. Sure. Yeah, so the current condition of the property. The first picture that you're looking at here, it's taken from inside the property looking into Jangood. You see right now, there's 3 trucks parked there. This was taken today. Those are not our trucks. I want to be clear on this. We do not rent out the space to truckers. This is, we believe, a local resident who's parking here. And these trees here, they're trees from the lot that were cut down earlier, but they're put there because Corey was having an issue with people backing up onto the property and dumping tires, concrete, other items. So Corey placed these tree trunks here as an effort to try and block people from accessing the property. If you go down to the next page, this is a picture from Jancood looking out onto Route 13. It doesn't look good. We understand that, we know that. Corey's been to the property a number of times to remove junk and trash, but other junk and trash keeps on showing up. And he's not there every day. It's difficult when you're dealing with a vacant lot. So a lot of times, unfortunately, it is the neighbors who will call the township and file complaints because of the cleanliness of the property, which we concede has happened. We obviously don't want this to happen moving forward. And for us, the best way to avoid this is to actually develop this property, have a single family home there, have it be a manicured lot that someone then is there full time, and it's not just a breeding ground for trash and other issues. So those are some of the issues and problems that we're dealing with the property. That's the general background as the highway easement issue. Like I said, I still have Corey here tonight to answer any specific questions, but I'm going to this time bring up Adam to help discuss some of these issues regarding the highway easement and some of the actual development that we're intending to do on the lot. All right, so if we could get Adam sworn.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Adam,
ADM Prince, Prince.
All right. Adam, please state your job title and your position that you hold with Fioravanti, Inc.
I'm a project manager at Fioravanti Inc.
All right. How long have you been there for?
A little over a year.
All right. And you hold your license here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as a PE?
Yep.
All right. And you've testified in many different zoning hearing boards in Bucks County and elsewhere, correct?
Correct.
All right. So at this point, if the board has any specific questions, I'll be happy to delve into it. But we would like to offer Adam as an expert in civil engineering in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Accept.
All right. So Adam, you and your office, fair to say, prepared the plans that are before the board this evening. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And it's also fair to say you heard my statements to the board just now?
Yep.
Generally speaking, were they true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Would you be willing to adopt my statements as your testimony here this evening?
Yes.
All right. Now, with respect to the actual project here, if we temporarily forget about the easement, put that out of our minds, are we basically just building a small single-family home on 8,400 square feet? Is that right?
Yep.
Is there any issue as far as the proposed size or orientation of the proposed home?
No, the size and orientation is pretty harmonious with the rest of the surrounding neighborhood. Any development for a property in this location would try to be as far away from the existing highway as possible.
Right. Hey, Bob, can you do me a favor and go back to the first page for me? All right. And next time I'll try to make all those the same size for you. So obviously, looking here again, this is the proposed development that we're talking about, correct?
Yeah.
All right, Bob, can you go back to the very first page? All right, so in terms of the surrounding area, I believe it was your testimony that this would be somewhat in keeping with the surrounding area. Is that, as far as setbacks and whatnot go, is that right?
Yeah.
That, fair to say, other homes in the area are built within setbacks, other structures are built within setbacks, correct?
Correct.
So even once this easement is abandoned by PennDOT and comes back to the property owner, he can own this in fee simple. Is it your testimony that this proposed home would still blend with the surrounding community?
Yes.
Okay. Now, from a stormwater management perspective, can you just explain briefly what we're doing here on the lot?
So all proposed impervious structures, similar to any other land development, would be managed by a new stormwater facility. In this case, typically underground seepage pit. For existing conditions, the drainage slopes towards the highway and then runs along the natural drainage ditches that parallel the highway.
So we're not going to be detrimental to the area from a stormwater perspective, is that right?
Nope, no impact.
All right. And as far as the remainder of the development goes, is there any reason why this would be detrimental to the surrounding homeowners or to the neighborhood?
No, I see no impact.
Is it your testimony that the relief we're asking for is the minimum relief that would enable reasonable use of this particular parcel?
Yes.
And moving forward, your office is going to be helping Corey through the disposition process with PennDOT. Even if it takes a while, we're going to do our best to help speed that process along as best as possible, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So with that, those are the only questions I have for Adam, subject to any questions from the board. And obviously, if the board has any specific questions regarding the property itself, I have Corey here as well, and I'll be happy to get him sworn in.
Any questions?
Bob, is there any outstanding violations on that property?
We sent the police department there yesterday for the truck parking.
But that's not on their property.
Well, as Bryce stated, there is,
Pardon me?
as Bryce stated, there's active violations for the lane clearing.
Yeah.
But other than that, no. It was dumping, and the police were out for the truck parking.
Once again, I'm not gonna talk about housekeeping. It's a disaster. Not gonna talk about it. I mean, you might wanna hire somebody to put up a, temporary fence, they call it. Normally when somebody's building something, they put a fence around the whole property, keep people out, keep the trash out. Right now, even last weekend, there was trash all over the place. It was so bad, we took pictures, it was that bad. Once again, we're gonna talk to the township about going out there, especially about the trucks and stuff. It's really bad. That's all I have to say about that.
Now with the proposed house you're building on here, would that cut down on people being able to get through and behind it to dump a lot of stuff, or will it still be able to get back there?
So the intent would be that if we're able to build the house right up here in the corner, obviously we still, this particular area forms the paper street, we're kind of limited in what we can do with that. Candidly, if we are allowed and we can, we would be happy to put some sort of fencing there, but we're limited with the highway easement. So we can't really go, if we file a permit for that, we wouldn't be able to get it done. To the extent where we can plant an arborvitae line or whatnot, that would make it very difficult for anyone to get back and trash the place. That would, obviously, we'd be happy to do that. But I think part of having this lot developed and having a family there instead of it being just a large vacant area, I think that would dissuade people.
Agreed.
And also, when you have a family here and a single-family home, you're not going to be able to obviously park the trucks there. So our hope would be that developing this lot will, I don't want to say prohibit truck parking, but it would be a natural way to stop that as well.
Any other questions?
Just one question. Is there a timeline with the PennDOT? I mean, I know you say could be whatever, but.
They told me years.
Years?
They told me years. They said that they hired a new guy working on these old projects, getting them cleaned up. He said, yeah, he's really going at it, and but give it a couple years. I was like, oh, wow, he must be really going at it then. But yeah, they told us that the actual plans for the property that show the area and the potential, because it's not just this lot, it's a number of lots. Actually, Bob, you can go down, I think, 4 pages for me. So this particular, yeah, that's the one. So it's a smaller area. Actually, can you bounce out for me real quick? Pull out. I'm not sure. I guess either way, it's a large swath of property. Yeah, right there, perfect. So this here, my green line, shows the highway easement. That's what PennDOT took all along this stretch. So from what we understand, they're getting plans together for the abandonment of this, and they're going to give every property owner, if they elect, they're going to give them the right to own their property again in fee simple, free and clear of easements. But they told us the plans themselves aren't even going to be ready for another year. That's just the plan, not even the balance of the process. But basically, this, I guess there used to be a home here. You can see the old home, it kind of crosses over the easement. Don't know what happened to that. But all these other properties doesn't really impact them as much because they already have homes there. So they're not trying to develop them or do anything. Obviously, us, we're a little different because it's vacant, so that's why it disproportionately impacts what we can do with the lot. But unfortunately, I don't have any estimate. When I offered, I said more or less than 5 years. It's like, probably more. And then that's when I had, in all candor, a conversation with Corey and let him know what was going on. And that's when we roped in Vince's office to assist and Adam's office to assist with, hey, what can we do that makes reasonable use of this lot and prevents it from continuing as is for the foreseeable future. And that's why, Adam came up with this plan that's before you. It's a little atypical, but it's one that we think will work. And once, especially this easement area comes back to the property, it's going to blend with the rest of the community. It's not going to be an issue.
Bob, do you have anything?
Nothing to add, Mark.
All right, make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to deny this application.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Call the board?
Gerard Lycon,
Yes.
Mark DeMarcus,
No.
Ed Murphy, no. Colleen Dunn.
Yes.
It's a tie.
All right. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Make a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I'll give a motion for it.
I'll second. Adjourn. Nice. Call the board. My bad.